Alright guys, for this video we're going to be answering the question of how do we calculate the area of a circle. Now yesterday we cut apart a circle, we explored a circle and turned it into a parallelogram and discovered the formula of a circle. We discovered that the formula of that circle is area equals pi times radius squared. Now formulas are like recipes that you can use for any circle, anytime, as long as you have the radius. So in order to find the area, you must have the radius. Now, some problems give you different information. So let's start with the most basic. If you were given a problem that already gives you the radius, something like this, then all we have to do is plug in the formula. Okay. How we do that is we write the original formula. So we're going to write area equals pi r squared. And then we replace the r with the value that we know. We no longer need the r because we do know the r in this problem. Our r is going to be 6. So we have area equals pi times 6 squared. Now order of operations say that we need to do our squares first. So I'm going to go down to the next line and do one step at a time. Copying down everything, bringing down everything that I haven't touched yet. So I'm going to bring down my a, bring down my pi because I'm not doing anything with that. And 6 squared is 36. Now is the time to get out your calculator. And I'm going to put into my calculator 3.14, which is pi, times 36. So in my calculator, 3.14 times 36 is 113 400. Then we need our units. Since these are in inches, and we're talking about area, this is going to be inches squared. All of our areas are always units squared. Okay. Now what if you're given a diameter? Our formula has nothing to do with the diameter, but we can use our diameter to find our radius. So if our problem is a circle with a diameter of 10 centimeters, then all I have to do is cut the diameter in half. Then put in formula. Okay. So if my diameter is 10 centimeters, that means my radius has to be 5 centimeters. From here, I do exactly what I did here now that I have a radius. So I'm going to start by writing the formula, a equals pi r squared, and I replace my r variable with the value. So a equals pi times 5 squared. Order of operations say I have to do squares first, exponents first, so I'm going to drop down everything else. A equals, I'm not doing anything with pi, and I know 5 times 5 is 25. Then I get out my calculator, and I'm going to have area equals 3.14, which is for pi, times 25, and I get 78.5. Now these are centimeters, and we're talking about area, so they're going to be centimeters squared. Okay. Now those are two of the basic ones. There's one other type of problem that isn't any more challenging, but it definitely has a few more steps. For that one, it is if you are given a circumference. If you are given a circumference, you have to find the diameter, then cut in half, then put in formula. Now, if you remember from our exploration where we were measuring circles, the circumference has to do with the diameter and pi. So we can't go directly from circumference to radius because circumference has to deal with diameter and pi. So let me give you a quick reminder. You don't necessarily have to put this one in your notes, but I want to show you how we get to the formula for diameter. Okay. So we know that the circumference, what we found was that pi equals the circumference divided by diameter. Now if I want to get my diameter by myself, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get him by itself. So I'm going to break up with this c. I need to get this c away from him. So right now this is c divided by d. So to undo that, I multiply by d, or my diameter, and if I multiply the right, then I have to multiply the left. Now my d's cancel out here, and what I'm left with is d times the radius equals the c. Now it looks a little bit simpler, but I still don't have my diameter by myself. Remember, our goal is to get to the radius. So for the radius, I need a diameter. So I need to get rid of this pi. To do that, diameter and pi are being held together with multiplication. So to undo that, I'm going to divide by pi. And on the right-hand side, I also divide by pi. Now my pi's cancel out over here, and what I'm left with is the diameter equals the circumference divided by pi. Now this is the formula that we're going to use to find our diameter. Let me say that again. This is the formula we're going to use to find our diameter. Okay, so our first step is to find the diameter. So I'm going to write that formula down. D equals circumference divided by pi. So D equals circumference divided by pi. So here's our problem. We have a circle that has a circumference of 36 yards. So let's first find our diameter. Anytime you're working with the formula, you're going to write the formula first. D equals circumference divided by pi. And then I'm going to input what I know. I know my circumference is 36 yards. So I'm going to rewrite it down here. Diameter equals 36, that's my new circumference, divided by pi. When I divide 36 divided by pi, I'm going to get my diameter. So I get my calculator out, and I divide 36 divided by pi, and I get 11.46. So my diameter is 11.46. From my diameter, I can cut my diameter in half to get my radius. So if my diameter is 11.46, then my radius is going to be 5.73. I got that just by dividing my diameter in half. Now I have my radius. It was a lot of work to get there, but now I have my radius. And I can just plug it into my formula like I did on the others. So my area equals pi times radius squared. I plug in my radius value for r. Area equals pi times 5.73 squared. Now grab your calculator. Now these answers are going to give you lots of decimals. My suggestion is use 1 or 2 decimal places. So for this, I'm just going to use 1 decimal place. So 5.73 times 5.73 is 32.89. And then in my calculator, 32.89 times pi is going to give me 103.1. These are in yards. And since width's an area, they are squared.